Hi, hello, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and today I am giving you my October TBR. I almost said wrap-up. It's definitely not my wrap-up because it is still September. So this is the last TBR before the Clear Your Shit TBRs, which is a bit exciting, I guess. So this is kind of my last, like, free reign TBR with no prompts or anything that I set up for myself guiding me, so cool, I guess. What's funny is I will be reading the last owned unread book that I have available to me. I will be finishing that, so that kind of defeats a little bit of the Clear Your Shit purpose, but don't worry, I have a plan for that. So that's not what today's video is about. We are talking about my October TBR, so let me go ahead and get into it. First up, we have my series continuations, and if you don't know how I do that part, I do not describe the book that I'm currently going to be reading because I do not want to spoil it should anybody want to read these books. Although, to be fair, this is the 16th book in an 18-book series, so even if I did talk about what this book was about, it wouldn't mean anything to you immediately, but it would eventually, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But I will be reading Be the Serpent by Shauna Maguire, and then also Sleep No More by Shauna Maguire, which actually just came out in September. So that's fun. I have the audiobook already, so I'll be listening to it, but this is the last of the physical books that I have at the moment of the October Day series. I have been reading the October Day series since about April, and I've been super obsessed with it, so if you haven't heard me talking about it, you haven't been watching my videos, but I've been super obsessed with it, and so I highly recommend them, and I'm very excited to keep reading them, obviously. Then I have What the Hell Did I Do Wrong, or nope, What the Hell Did I Just Read by Jason Paragon, or aka David Wong. This is the third book in the John Dies at the End series. I started this series incorrectly by reading the fourth book first, and then I read book one, and then I read book two. Book one was a little bit not good, and then book two was better, but definitely matched the age at which it had been published. And there are some horror, sci-fi, fantasy books that you read and you just know that men are the intended audience, and this series is definitely that. I enjoy it, but the humor is that. I don't really know how else to describe it, but there's definitely like this subset of like horror, sci-fi, fantasy books that are like geared towards men and men's senses of humor. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I will also be rereading The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke so that I can read The Faithless by C.L. Clarke, because I did not realize that The Faithless had come out. Despite it literally being on my releases I was excited for, I didn't realize that it had come out until I saw someone talking about it on TikTok. I don't even like TikTok book talk videos. What? So I will be rereading this. She's a large book, but that's okay. Terrain is a soldier, and apparently when I got it was when I was still under my maiden name. Terrain is a soldier, stolen as a child and raised to kill and die for the Empire. She owes loyalty only to her fellow conscripts, but now she has been sent back to her homeland to stop a rebellion, and the ties of blood may be stronger than she thought. Luca needs a turncoat, someone who can sway the rebels against peace, while Luca focuses on what really matters, winning back her throne. Through assassinations and massacres in bedrooms and war rooms, Terrain and Luca will haggle over the price of a nation, but some things aren't for sale. This is a really fun, like, little special edition that I have, I think, from when I had the Illumicrate box. Unsure, but I think that's what this is from. So I'm excited to reread this because I have been sort of enjoying complex political fantasies a little bit. Not a ton, because I'm an idiot. No brain cell. But a little bit. When I reread The Jasmine Throne this past month, I realized I was like, oh, I actually might have the mental capacity to read some of these again. Much to consider. But that's it for my series continuations. Not a whole lot of them. Surprising, I know, but we've done it. Then for my quote-unquote other, because I have no other way of categorizing these books. These are just books that are on my TBR. We have Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. This is a novella about a princess trapped in a story, but it is not about a princess trapped in a story. It's actually about Toadling, who was stolen from her family by the fairies, and then grew up safe and warmed and loved in fairyland. And then when she became an adult, the Fae ask a favor of Toadling to return to the human world and offer a blessing of protection to a newborn child, which seems really super simple, except with Fae, never simple. Centuries later, a knight approaches a towering wall of brambles where the thorns are thick as your arm and sharp as swords. He heard there's a curse here that needs breaking, but it's a curse Toadling will do anything to uphold. I really like T. Kingfisher. I think it's really neat that the T. Kingfisher is able to, similar to Shauna Maguire, do both fantastic fantasies with fantastic fantasy world building and setting and whatever, but then also really good at horror. And I just love that. I love the duality, you know? The ability to do such fucking nuts things. Then we have The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This is a book I've been pretty excited about, and then Art read it and screamed about it, and Landis has read it and screamed about it, and I was like, okay, that's 2 for 2, so I gotta read it. So it is on the TBR. London, 1883. The veil between the living and the dead has thinned. Violet-eyed mediums commune with spirits under the watchful eye of the Royal Speaker Society, and 16-year-old Silas Bell would rather rip out his violet eyes than become an obedient speaker wife. According to Mother, he'll be married by the end of the year. It doesn't matter that he's needed a decade of tutors to hide his autism, that he practices surgery on slaughtered pigs, that he is a boy, not the girl the world insists on seeing. After a failed attempt to escape an arranged marriage, Silas is diagnosed with veil sickness, a mysterious disease sending violet-eyed women into madness, and shipped away to Braxton's sanatorium and finishing school. The facility is cold, the instructors merciless, and the students either bloom into eligible wives or disappear. So, when ghosts of missing students start begging Silas for help, he decides to reach into Braxton's innards and expose its rotten guts to the world as long as the school doesn't break him first. It seems really good, and I'm very excited about it. Also, this TBR in October, true October fashion, is predominantly thrillers and horrors, which I did not realize until I was planning the book blanket blocks for October, and it was all thrillers and horrors, and I was like, hee hee, it's October, that's fine. Next up, we have The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. When Springfield residents, at least the ones still alive, are questioned about what happened on prom night, they all have the same explanation. Maddie did it. An outcast at her small-town Georgia high school, Madison Washington has always been a teasing target for bullies, and she's dealt with it because she has more pressing problems to manage. Until the morning surprise rainstorm reveals her most closely kept secret. Maddie is biracial. After a viral bullying video pulls back the curtain on Springfield High's racist roots, the student leaders come up with a plan to change their image, host the school's first integrated prom as a show of unity. The popular white class president convinces her black superstar quarterback boyfriend to ask Maddie to be his date, leaving Maddie wondering if it's possible to have a normal life. But some of her classmates aren't done with her just yet, and what they don't know is that Maddie still has another secret, one that will cost them their lives, and it sounds like they deserve that, so, weird. Then we have Dead End Girls by Wendy Hurd. I really like Wendy Hurd's thrillers, so excited. In 1 week, Maud will be dead. At least that's what she wants everyone to think. After years of research, Maud has decided to fake her own death. She's figured out the how, the when, the where, and who will help her unsuspectingly. The why is complex. Revenge, partly. Her terrible parents deserve this. But there's also the call of the void that beckons her towards a new life where she will be tied to no one, free and adrift. Then Frankie, a step-cousin she barely knows, figures out what she's plotting, and the plan seems like it's ruined. Except Frankie doesn't want to rat her out. Frankie wants in. The girls vault into the unknown, risking everything for a new and limitless life, but there are some things you can never run away from. What if the poison is not in the soil, but in the roots? And you pull it up by the roots. Or you actually just cut it off, and then you transplant it into water, and then it grows new roots, and then you put it somewhere else, and then it's a new plant, and then it's not poisoned. Anyway. Next up, we have Nothing More to Tell by Karen McManus. Karen McManus is kind of like an icon within young adult thrillers, so 4 years ago, Bryn left St. Ambrose School following the shocking murder of her favorite teacher, a story that made headlines after the teacher's body was found by 3 St. Ambrose students in the woods behind their school. The case was never solved. Now that Bryn is moving home and starting her dream internship at a true crime show, she's determined to find out what really happened. I hate true crime nowadays. I'm very kind of against true crime podcasts and stuff. I think they're genuinely terrible. So this could be interesting. 4 years ago, someone got away with murder. More terrifying is that they might be closer than anyone thinks. Because of course they are. Of course they are. Next up, we have Jawbone by Monica Oeda. Fernanda and Annalise are so close that they are practically sisters, a double image, inseparable. So how does Fernanda end up bound on the floor of a deserted cabin, held hostage by one of her teachers and estranged from Annalise? Fair question. When Fernanda and Annalise and their friends from the Delta Bilingual Academy convene after school, Annalise leads them in thrilling but increasingly dangerous rituals to a rhinestone, Dior-scented drag queen god of her own invention. Even more perilous is the secret Annalise and Fernanda share, rooted in a dare in which violence meets love. Meanwhile, their literature teacher, Miss Clara, who's obsessed with imitating her dead mother, struggles to preserve her deteriorating sanity. Each day, she edges nearer to a total break with reality. What do these two things have to do with each other? I don't know, but it seems like it's going to be a wild ride, so there we go. Next up, we have a very sweet little graphic novel, Garlic and the Vampire by Brie Paulson. I've seen other YouTubers talk about this and it looks really sweet, so I figured I would pick it up. Garlic feels as though she's always doing something wrong, at least with her friend Carrot by her side and the kindly witch Agnes encouraging her. Garlic is happy to just tend her garden where it's nice and safe. But when her village of vegetable folk learn that a bloodthirsty vampire has moved into the nearby castle, they all agree that, in spite of her fear and self-doubt, Garlic is the obvious choice to confront him. And with everyone counting on her, Garlic reluctantly agrees to face a mysterious vampire, hoping she has what it takes. After all, Garlic drives away vampires, right? It just seems really sweet, so... And last up on this part of the TBR, we have Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. This was on my releases I was excited for and was recommended by Landis. Landis highly recommended it, actually, if I remember correctly. So I'm excited about reading it. I love reading things that my friends recommended. So all her life, Kira has trained for the day she can avenge the murder of planet Earth. Raised in the bowels of Gaia Station, alongside this last scraps of humanity, she readies herself to face the wisdom, the all-powerful, reality-shaping weapon that gave the Mahota their victory over humanity. They are what's left. They are what must survive. Kier is one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet, but when the command assigns her brother to certain death and relegates her to the nursery to bear sons until she dies trying, she knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. Alongside her brother's brilliant but seditious friend and a lonely captive alien, she escapes from everything she's ever known into a universe far more complicated than she was taught and far more wondrous than she could have imagined. Adult fantasy, it seems cool. Sci-fi fantasy? I think it's sci-fi. Whatever, it seems cool. I'm excited. And then last but not least, I have my 24-hour reads for this month. Am I looking forward to it? No. Is it going to be worse than last month's with 50 Shades of Grey? Actually, maybe. Maybe. So what you need to know about me, if you didn't know, if this is the first video you've ever seen from me, if you don't know anything about me, I was raised evangelical. But like we're open-minded evangelical. We're like this close to being a megachurch evangelical, which if you are in the, like if your family is a part of the leadership of a church that is very close to becoming a megachurch, then you are probably in a cult, bestie. I was essentially raised in a cult, so I have some religious trauma. And prior to 50 Shades of Grey, the only romance that I read, the only spicy books that I read were Christian romances. The very first ones that I distinctly remember was the Christy Miller collection by Robin Jones Gunn. Christy gets sent to her grandparents' house to spend summer vacation on a California beach. She's a very sweet Christian girly, squirrely girly, and she, I think, meets Todd at the beach. I don't know. She does this thing that I always thought was really cute. I still think it's really cute, honestly. I can openly say I still think this is very cute. She would write letters to her future husband, if I'm remembering correctly. And she falls in love, and she's a teenager and whatever, but the whole, like, plot, like, here's a key line, right? A very key line that we need to hear is, as these memorable, because it's the Christy Miller collection, so it has the first 12 books, and I did own the Christy Miller collection and read them all for some godforsaken reason. And the line that I really think is important here is, as these memorable years unfold, Christy and her God-loving friends find out what it means to be a peculiar treasure. Follow Christy Miller as she stays true to her identity in Christ, drawing closer to God for help in realizing her dreams and dealing with her disappointments. The romance plot of this book, I am 99% sure, is a virginity plot. Like, I am like 99% sure that it is a save yourself for marriage, silver ring thing, purity, culture plot. I'm like 99% sure. Because all of the Christian romance books that I read were that. They were abstinence only, save yourself for marriage, submit to your husband, submit to your parents, even when you disagree, yada yada yada. All of them were that. And so I'm pretty sure that that is the plot of this. Next we have, because I, obviously can't torture myself enough, next we have The Hawk and the Jewel by Lori Wick. Now, I have to disclaim, I added this, but I'm not 100% sure if this is one that I read as a teenager. I could not find the books that I read as a teenager because I don't own them. My cousin owned them, and I had texted her asking if she still had them, but I didn't hear back from her, and so I don't know for sure if this is the ones. The covers look a little bit familiar, but I read these during quite possibly one of the most traumatic times of my whole life. That time, and then currently, like, those are the two most traumatic times of my life. And so I think that I could be misremembering, right? Also, my memory is just notoriously bad. So I read a bunch of these like adult Christian romance books, which are still purity culture plot lines. So this book, everyone thought little Sunny had perished with Lady Gallagher in a storm-tossed seas off the Arabian coast. But the beautiful toddler had been found, taken to the palace of Darabar, and raised as the ruler's own child. I just know this book is going to be racist. Now the Emir, Ahmed Khan, is sending her home, and Sunny's uncertain new life is completely in God's hands. Wow. Good luck, Sunny. That's a stupid name, though, bestie. Stupid. Stupid. Anyway, I also might read, hold on, I have to pull it up because I haven't decided yet. If I have time and spoons and want to read one more book set for my 24-hour reads, and I want it to maintain Christian fiction that I read as a child, I want to read, also sorry, the Christy Miller collection is books 1 through 3. I knew it couldn't be 12. I might want to read at least one of the Left Behind books, the kids version. I read these books by accident in middle school, and it was so fucking terrifying to me. Because it is about the rapture. The first book is called The Vanishings, and it is Left Behind the Kids, because there is a Left Behind Adults series. I did not read the adult series. It is what happens after the rapture. The children who get left behind. So if I still have spoons, I'm gonna read this and laugh about how fucking ridiculous it is and how much it scared the shit out of me as a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, however old I was. In 5th grade I was 11? I don't know. But it scared the fuck out of me. So we have that. So that's it. That's my TBR for October. It's gonna be a fun time. I have a lot of horror, scary things I'm gonna read, and then books that are pretending to be romance novels but are probably horror novels because they're Christian religious fiction. But I am going to be reading them and suffering through them, and you guys will get a video on it, just like you did with 50 Shades Grey. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you are going to read any of these books or have read any of these books or remember the Left Behind series, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear about it. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, save yourself, do not read them. I already know they're bad. If you have any recommendations for me, let me know in the comments down below, and I hope to see you guys participating in Clear Your Shit next month. Very exciting for year 4. That's crazy. I've been running Clear Your Shit for half of the amount of time that I have known my partner. Wild. Anyway, that's it though. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays except for the first week of the month at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. I hope that you take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share if you like this video, etc., etc., etc. Okay, thanks, bye.